Silence. They fear it because silence doesn't make noise. It makes transformation. They thought leaving you alone would weaken you, cut off from love, validation, support, like silence was supposed to be your punishment. But that's where they miscalculated, because silence doesn't kill the strong. It forces them to meet the person they were born to be. Alone, you learn the difference between waiting to be chosen and choosing yourself. They pushed you into the dark, hoping you'd lose the fight. But God was already there, waiting, watching, whispering. Don't speak, don't react, don't beg, just burn, quietly, like a candle in a locked room. They couldn't hear you rising, but the walls did. Silence is where God carved thunderstorms into your ribs, where you learned that the ones who ignored you only trained you to live without them. Every moment you stayed quiet, you became more dangerous. Now you don't speak to be heard, you speak to be felt. And when they finally listen, it won't be conversation, it will be revelation. Because the silence they gave you is the reason your voice now echoes like judgment. Funny, isn't it? They thought they were burying you, not realizing some things only grow in darkness. They never stabbed you. They never yelled. They just stopped showing up. That is how the strongest warriors are built. Not through war, through absence. Because abandonment is the quietest form of destruction. No explosion, no warning, just a door that never opens again. They didn't break your ribs, they broke your belief that anyone would catch you. But here's the tragedy and the victory. They thought you'd collapse without their presence, not realizing that solitude is where some of us discover our true dominance. You waited for someone to understand you. Now you understand silence better than any language spoken by the loud. You waited for someone to save you, but in the dark, with no hand left to hold, you saved yourself. That's when something changed. You stopped needing proof you matter. You became the proof. When people leave, they expect you to suffer. Maybe you did, but only long enough to learn that pain is a resource. You learned to convert hurt into hunger, loneliness into leverage, and betrayal into blueprint. Absence didn't make you weak, it sharpened every instinct until you no longer crave voices, you crave results. You don't chase attention anymore. You build a life so undeniable, it attracts gravity. They don't come back because they care. They come back because they notice you no longer do. That's the power of abandonment. It teaches you this. Sometimes God doesn't remove people to protect your heart. He removes them so you stop handing them the hammer. And when the phone finally rings, in the far corner of your palace of silence, you'll realize something. You didn't win despite being left alone. You won because you were. They don't fear your rage. They fear your calm. Because a person who still reacts is still attached, still hoping, still waiting. But the moment you stop responding is the moment you stop needing. That's emotional detachment. Not pretending you don't care, but truly reaching a level where their presence doesn't alter your pulse. See, anger ties you to them. Silence cuts the rope. When you stop explaining yourself, they'll call you cold. When you stop trying to be understood, they'll call you heartless. But let's be honest, they didn't listen when you spoke with warmth. So now, let them listen to your absence. You are not becoming emotionless. You are becoming emotionally disciplined. Because real power isn't how loud you can shout. It's how silent you remain while the world tries to provoke you. I'm not teaching you to suppress emotion. I'm teaching you how to own it, like a king who doesn't flinch when the enemy bears his sword. Why? Because emotional detachment is the shift from reactive energy to strategic presence. The world breaks those who still search for validation, but it bows to those who become validation. Re-listen to that. You no longer desire their apology, or their recognition, or their closure. You've evolved past the version that demanded it. You don't want revenge. You want distance. Distance is what lets you transform. Detach, 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 until one day you look back and realize you've outgrown everything that hurt you. The people who ignored you, left behind. The habits that weakened you, burned off. The pain that controlled you, converted into protocol. Your silence is not submission, it's construction. You are not running, you are evolving. And when you finally return, not for them, but for your destiny, you'll be unrecognizable. Not because you became someone new, but because you finally became who you always were. The greatest transformations don't happen in victory. They happen in collapse. Not when you're praised, but when you're forgotten. Do you know when a warrior is truly born? Not in the arena, in the wreckage, when you're staring at everything that failed, when there's no applause left, only debris, and somehow you still decide to rebuild. That's when something primal awakens, stronger than motivation, deeper than resilience. It's called decision. I will rise, no matter who stays, no matter who leaves. Listen closely. Pain doesn't break you. It introduces you to the version of yourself you should have always been. They thought they were destroying you. They were actually removing everything that kept you from becoming unstoppable. Because what remains after betrayal is pure, unfiltered, surgically refined by pain. You no longer fight to prove yourself. You construct a life so vast it becomes undeniable. This is where discipline enters, not as effort, but as identity. You wake before the world, not to impress them, but because you know who you're becoming. You train your mind, your body, your solitude. Brick by broken brick, you lay your new foundation. Not built from confidence, built from certainty. Confidence depends on results. Certainty exists before them. That's what they never understood. You're not coming back for attention. You're coming back for dominion. Your silence becomes your strategy. Your pain becomes your architecture. And every scar you once hid becomes reinforcement steel. You don't avoid darkness. You engineer from it. Listen, being unbreakable isn't about never being broken. It's about knowing how to put yourself back together with parts they can't dismantle again. That is rebirth. That is design. That is power beyond threat. And when they one day cross the empire you built from your own ruins, they won't recognize you because you didn't recover. You replaced yourself. Funny, people think silence means God left. Truth is, silence is when he's building you, not comforting you, constructing you. See, when God plans to build something mighty using a soul, he first strips away the audience. He lets people doubt you, ignore you, abandon you, just to ensure when it rises, it wasn't applause that raised you. It was destiny. You prayed for rescue, but he gave you pressure. You asked for answers. He gave you silence, not because he was punishing you, but because he knew noise would dilute your evolution. Listen closely. Pain never arrived to destroy you. It arrived to remove what couldn't go with you. They thought they were burying you. They didn't know God was planting you, because the silence they mistook for your defeat was actually the soil sealing your roots. They just didn't hear the growth. And later, When the thunder comes, when the very storm they fabricated collapses at your feet, they'll say you changed. No, you didn't change. You were discovered. They only knew the bruised you. They didn't stay long enough to witness the blueprint. That's why the call will come too late. Because God didn't let you evolve to prove them wrong. He let you evolve to fulfill what they were never meant to understand. Re-listen to this. God didn't send the storm to drown you. He sent it to reveal you can breathe underwater. They turned their backs when you needed a hand, but their absence created precision. Silence was your shaping, storm was your ignition, and the moment you realized you no longer needed their validation, God upgraded your throne, not to be seen, to be seated. Understand this. The people who ignored your pain aren't invited to your rise. The storm they once celebrated will one day bow to you, because God is not in the noise. He is in the stillness right before the thunder. And you are what He chose to thunder with. They always circle back, not because they've changed, but because you did. Silence forced you to build alone. Pain shaped you when no one was watching. You became something they didn't calculate. You see, when you were begging for acknowledgement, they laughed in peace. But now that you no longer care if they clap, they panic in silence. The cruel joke, the moment you stop chasing validation, you become validation. And they'll knock at the door they once burned, but the flame they left you in gave birth to fire no one can approach. When they finally call, it won't be to help you rise. It'll be to beg you not to rise without them. They'll call you cold, emotionless, unreachable. No, you simply became what abandonment taught you, untouchable. Let them wonder how you survived. Let them question your transformation. Let them realize God raised you in silence so no one could claim credit for your rebirth. By the time they understand what you are, it will already be too late to stand beside you. You don't punish them with anger. You punish them with success, delivered in silence. The ignored one is now the storm, and storms don't answer texts. The loudest scream isn't always the most powerful. The quiet observer is the one they never see coming. You've learned to walk through their chaos without flinching, to watch every lie, every betrayal, every whisper, and respond with nothing. Silence isn't passive, it's a weapon. It's a spotlight on their weakness, a mirror to their greed. When they try to provoke you, when they push and pull, hoping for reaction, smile. not because it's funny, but because you finally understand the punchline. They mistake your calm for surrender, your quiet for fear. But you've mastered something far scarier, the ability to see every move before it's made, to understand the storm without ever entering it. You are untouchable, not by armor, not by violence, but by the unshakable discipline of your mind. The chaos around you, it becomes background music. The whispers, fuel for your evolution. Every mistake they make is a step they take toward watching you rise further than they imagined. Every betrayal, a lesson carved into your strategy. And when they finally notice, when they finally realize you haven't flinched, haven't begged, haven't reacted, they'll see it too late. The person they abandoned, the one they thought they could manipulate, has become a ghost in their memory. Silent, calculated, unreachable. You've learned the ultimate secret. Not every battle deserves participation. Some victories come from watching, waiting, and becoming untouchable. And in that silence, God, destiny, whatever you call it, is smiling quietly, knowing the storm you've become is the one they never expected to endure or survive.